I always like to fucking try to cook up what the Savage mechanics are gonna be. So let's do that. I would say the first like real mechanic here is the 1-2 snap. I feel like this almost feels like a little too predictable, but like at the same time it is the first fight. I don't think they're gonna go too crazy with it, but I could imagine anytime they try to upgrade a mechanic from normal mode to Savage, like what's the go-to is just add spreads, pairs, or light party stacks after the mechanic happens. And I would be very surprised, or like Proteans, although I don't think there's, I mean, I guess there is like some kind of something like that, right? Enumerations, like something like that. So we do the, you know, 1, 2 snap, and then at the same time that this goes off, you got like a light party stack or like a pair stack or something like that goes off. I feel like that's like a pretty standard Savage mechanic, so I feel like that's probably gonna happen. Like I feel like maybe in the name of the cast, like I think someone in my Savage static said like quarter beat or like quarter tempo twist or something like that, would be like pairs, and then like eighth note or something. He'd only telegraph the side he's cleaving with his body. I feel like that's probably likely / possible. This, I think, is probably gonna be like, I think the floor is gonna be different colors, and you're gonna have to like look up here to see which ones are gonna explode instead of it just being like an alternating pattern in either side. Because like they are colored, so I think that's probably gonna be the main thing. And like maybe this is a light party stack instead of a, so that's called full beat. So maybe half beat, maybe there's a half beat and a full beat. Half beat is light party stack, full beat is full party stack. Let's go Infernal. This is just the raid wide, right? No, okay, so this, I cooked this in our Discord yesterday. I think this might be a little overcooking because it kind of, it's based on English language translation, which I don't, but who knows? So I feel like they could, or at least what would be cool and thematically fun would be for this debuff to be one of two: either share the spotlight or steal the spotlight, or like hog the spotlight or something. And if you have share the spotlight, you need to resolve your debuff in the spotlight with another person or with everyone else who has that debuff. And if you have like steal the spotlight, you have to resolve the debuff in a spotlight by yourself or it'll fail. I think that would be a very cool and very thematically appropriate upgrade to this mechanic. Because like obviously they could just limit the arena space, which I think would be kind of boring. Because like there's one in each quadrant of the arena every time. So it could just be something like that. I think that'd be kind of a boring way to do it with such a like thematically fun mechanic. I hope they don't just limit arena space. I hope they do something a little bit more interesting with that mechanic. So this, the Exa lines, I mean, I don't really know what they could do with this other than just make like do something else with it, like make something else happen. You know what I mean? It's like obviously I think it could be faster with like less space in between or something. I don't know, but I don't really know. They could do this at like the same time as like the frog half rooms. So this, I imagine this feels to me like this feels like it's going to be a memory game, right? Like this feels like you're going to have to, so I think you're going to have to remember and then they're going to go away. But I think that like a lot of mechanics in Final Fantasy 14 when it gets a complexity upgrade. I think there's only going to be like 2 or 3 patterns combining the alternate squares. Oh, actually, that's a good point, because those squares both, it would be interesting to combine the X squares with the alternating exploding squares. That's actually an interesting idea, because they both like interact with the square floor. So that's actually a cool idea. But yeah, I think this is like a devour style mechanic. I think you're just gonna have to remember it. Remember after how many to swap. Either that, or I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe like, I was gonna say maybe they could be pointing forward and backwards too, so that like, but he's all the way up here, so I feel like that's not gonna be the case. But maybe we're like, or maybe two happen at a time. There's one that's like pointing forward and backwards, one that's pointing left and right. So like, you only have a quarter of the arena that's safe instead of half of it. I feel like that could be an interesting, and then like 2 go off at a time. That could be an interesting way to do it as well. You think LBJ from everybody succeeding will be important? Well, it's the first fight, so no, I don't think so. I think it'll be helpful. I don't think it'll be like mandatory. What's up, Brighttown? You're never gonna need it. I mean, people were like, I feel like expectations for a first fight need to kind of be tempered. Like, it's not gonna be like, you think about Black Cat, you were literally skipping Raining Cats or whatever it was called, like in week 1 gear. So I don't anticipate, I mean, I know it's a second tier, it's probably gonna be harder, but like, mandatory tank LB in a first turn, surely. I mean, how much LB do you even get from it? I feel like we didn't successfully do it as a team every time. Same with the damage buff. Like, I feel like the damage buff will be nice. Oh, you get a full bar, okay. Like, the damage buff is nice. I don't think there's going to be too much of an impact, but just the way that mechanic's kind of positioned, I do think that it's going to be similar to something like Devour. The question is, will there be an 8-man buddy check afterwards? I mean, there's not like a ton else in the fight, right? Like, there's these P8S lines. I don't really know what to cook here other than like, so you got 8th beats. I think that could probably be like quarter beats as well. And it's just going to be like, I think that these are also, if this exact mechanic is in Savage, everything's going to go off at the same time. You're not going to have time to like spread out afterwards. So you're going to have to do your spreads all within this like small space. But yeah, there's like nothing else really in the fight, right? Like, there's another round of spotlight debuffs. This fight's cool. I don't think it's gonna be anything crazy, but it's a cool fight. If you look here, I mean, there's so many different icons, right? Which could just be flavor, but like, you got the wings, like the target, like you've got a bunch of different icons. So I'm very curious what they're going to do with all that. I mean, obviously, I think there's going to be more permutations of like 2 of them have wings and 1 of them doesn't. So I think that will definitely be... I don't think single style will exist at all in the fight. I think it'll be like double and triple style only. Okay, so this... So my theory for this thing is that this is gonna have, because it's like its own entity on the enemy list. I think that this is going to do like a cast, and I think there's going to be like 8 of these that are all targeted on players, and you're going to have to bait them onto this in order to like destroy it so it doesn't blow up your raid. Either that, or like you're gonna have to kill it before the arrows go off so that they can like hit something else, maybe. But I definitely think that target mechanic's gonna look way different. I mean, this is just probably gonna be a swap. It's 2 different elements, so I feel like that's like, I feel like the primary target's gonna get hit with 1 element while the second target gets hit with another, and then after the cast, the primary is gonna get hit with the opposite element or the same element again, and you just have to swap so that they don't both take the same element twice in a row. pretty generic tank buster. I'd love for it to not be that, but I don't anticipate it. So this, man, I don't know what they're gonna do with this. This feels like it could be like an M2 angle where, like, I wonder if the cactus, like the cacti, are just gonna be like Alarm Pheromones 1 in M2, where it's just it's literally just the normal mode mechanic, and it's just like a run around with your, like a chicken with your head cut off thing. I can absolutely see them doing that. I don't know what they're gonna do with this, other than maybe splitting up the party, right? Like use this to split up the party and do some light party stacks, right? I feel like that's probably somewhat of a logical thing, where like you have, it covers like this one and this one, so you have to split up here and here into light parties to take a stack or something like that. And then like after you take the stack, maybe it covers half the room like this one does, and then you have to spread out or something. So yeah, this one I think is like kind of obvious what they'll do here. I think they're gonna restrict you to one platform a lot. So like they'll make you take, I can also see a world in which like getting in or out of the water gives you some kind of debuff where you can't get back in it, so you can't just like freely roam around. You have to like you have to use the bridges. You have to like, there would be an extra painting besides the bombs and arrows. Yeah, I could see that. The fuck killed Hiso there? Oh, is he just not in the water? But yeah, I think you're gonna have to, because we tested this. You can fit 8 people with these spreads on one platform. So I feel like you're going to have to do that at some point. I could also see something that I think would be kind of cool. I don't know if they would actually do it, but it would be cool, is if like for the light party stacks, if like the target that got hit, like, so if you're targeted with the, where the fuck? So if you're targeted with the light party stacks, you take fire damage, but if you're hit by the actual like stack damage, you take lightning damage, so that like the person targeted with the stack has to stand in the water, and then the people not like sharing it with them but not targeted need to be on land. I think that would be kind of cool. I don't know if they would do that, but it would be I think that would be like a cool way to kind of like utilize the fire and lightning resistance adjustments. I could see a world in which you have to bait the placement of this big cloud, like Ramu style. Like I could see like the clouds being on 2 and then you having to utilize one platform to do like spreads and stacks. Well, I guess you couldn't do stacks because there's poop water. And I think that's about it. Yeah, this is just a lot of repeat stuff. Dude, I don't know. I don't know about this fight. I feel like it's very possible that they start you in here. Like in the... We wiped a bunch on this fight. Okay. This is a Savage already? Dude, this fight's awesome. Okay, so one of the first things that comes to mind, I don't think you're going to be able to kill the ads. I feel like they'll start you in the last arena, like P5. I don't think you're going to be able to kill the ads. I think you're going to have to kill them with the Petrify. Because yeah, like there's no elements of the fight in phase 1 and 2 here that are not present in the final phase, right? Because like sometimes he goes to, Jesus Christ, bro, go to the last arena. Thank you. Like everything's present here. The way that they spawns the ads, he clings to the walls. It's like a combination of phases 1 and 2. I feel like it's gonna be just this arena. I could be wrong, but I think they're gonna start you here. I think there'll probably be some lariat combos here. The arena swapping is sick, but I just don't. I could see it being maybe. I don't know if they'd split it into light parties because the space between the arenas I think is too big, unless they are squished together on Savage. I mean, there could be different arenas possible. But yeah, I think we'll get some lariat combos with this. Is it this? Yeah, this. Or no, is it this? Yeah, so I think this is going to be baited Proteans. So I think he's going to pick someone to stack. But yeah, I think these are going to be baited Proteans because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 of them. So I think stack, go to Protean spots. I think that's a pretty, like, and then probably move out of the way. I think that's a pretty gimme mechanic. It's weird because, like, as crazy as this fight is, like, there's not a lot here, you know what I mean? Like, the fight's intense, but like the first phase, the second phase, and the third phase all share a lot of mechanics. I think there's obviously going to be some ins then outs as opposed to just in or outs. Like, I think when he has the 2 weapons here, I think it's just going to be like, okay, this is glowing, so it's in then out. And maybe there's like a second tell for glower power. But yeah, like, despite this fight being like crazy intense, there is not a ton going on. But yeah, this tower I feel like is kind of weird. TB was also weird targeting second in aggro. Wait, really? That's weird. Yeah, this stack is like a big question mark to me. This could also just be like a body check after a big mechanic. Either way, when it starts. Yeah, I feel like normal mode mechanics rarely actually target aggro. They target tanks. Like, they just hard target tanks. So I think if anything, it's probably that. And then, man, this fight, dude, I got no fucking idea. Dude, the kitchen is empty on this fight. This fight just feels so, like, half there. This doesn't feel like a real boss fight. You got that dog in him? Literally. This fight is missing so much stuff. Yeah, like, I feel like it's so hard. I think a lot of our static, myself included, thinks that the I guess we'll talk about it when we get there. I feel like this will be like a Pinax thing, Pinax, whatever, where this is all going to be in like different orders and you have to watch the telegraphs on his body. So like here he goes for the stab, and then like when he does the sweep he like holds his hand out like this. So I feel like you're gonna have to watch his body language and it's gonna be different orders. You have this. I feel like this will be 2 going off at a time with other things happening. Like, I think other things will be happening, but I think 2 of these will go off at a time. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious here. We'll probably have to divide into like role pairs when this comes out. One thing I will say as a Pictomancer is the fact that there's like lots of mini downtime in this fight is actually kind of cool. But yeah, like just like some baited AoEs and some like, it's all just like very, like, the mechanics just feel so like bare bones. He literally just stands here and autos his tank for like 20 minutes. Calls in the pack watch. Saving all that good shit. I mean, P8 normal was the same way, right? I mean, P8 normal is so like empty. There's just like nothing there. And I feel like this is going to be a similar situation. So I think you're definitely gonna have to split the ads up. I think they'll tether to each other. If the ads P8 normal is still better than this, I honestly, it's hard for me to say. It's been a hot minute since I've done P8 normal. You're probably gonna have to split these up. I think that this guy is probably gonna do like a knockback when he dies, and this guy will probably do like a big earth AoE around him when he dies. They both do this line AoE, and there's a spread. The other possibility for this is that this is like P12 normals ads phase, where the Savage version, the ads are not even going to be targetable. It's just going to be a complete downtime like dance, like a limit cut or something, you know what I mean? I think it is possible that it's something like that, right? Because, you know, the P12 normal ads phase is literally just like a bunch of fucking ads spawn and you just kind of fucking kill the shit out of them. And like, that's it. And then on Savage, they made it a completely different mechanic. I feel like this ad phase could potentially follow a similar pattern. Okay, so I think a lot of our static agrees that this is either not going to be in Savage at all, or it's going to be extremely like scripted. That would be cool, yeah. This is like, I think as Murrow said, this is like the most normal mode mechanic of all time. You hope it's in Savage? I don't know. I hate this like gold saucer gimmick bullshit. I'm not a huge fan of mechanics like this, and I'm not just saying that because I'm dead on the ground as it goes out. Yeah, like there's not a lot here. I just think the theme of the ads after the ads phase, kind of like reflecting his attacks, so to speak, is probably going to be a thing. But yeah, I feel like I have very little to say about this fight on normal mode. I don't really know what they're going to do with it. It's going to be interesting to see for sure.